Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Xaereth Prevails, a Grand Arena story. We're in the start of Season 7, Episode 1, and things are pretty different, guys. We're doing things totally different. I'm using a new program called OBS, and it's a good program and is not designed to do what I'm using it for, and as such, I think this is going to be a one-of-a-kind video. It's just totally, it's going to be very different. So basically what I'm doing one take of the entire thing. So if I mess up and swear or do something ill-advised, I am probably just going to leave it in. And even if I stammer, if I say something that makes myself sound a little dumb or a lot dumb like that, then that's just going to be the reality. So basically I'm going to be navigating through my Grand Arena Match 1, and we're going to experience it together. Now you guys can hear the humming of my computer probably if you turn it up. I am getting a new computer soon, and that is the reason why I've trying to do it this way. I want to have background music to cover that up, so we will get to that momentarily. However, well, let's actually turn it on right now, and then I'll turn it off shortly. So, all right. Before we get into the episode, I do want to say thank you to all of my patrons. You guys are awesome. Really appreciate you guys. I actually have one other person who should be on that list, but they joined Patreon just a little bit too late for me to be able to add them to this list. So thank you to Brian of Tarth for joining my patrons. Really appreciate all the support. And this is episode 1 of the new season, and as such I do want to just shout out my Patreon. It's in the video description. There's a link, and to those of you who are interested, and even those who aren't right now interested in it, I would just recommend taking a look at it. There are a lot of perks to it. It's not just an enrich Xaereth scheme. There are things like the arena bot that sends you a Discord message when you are attacked in arena and get kicked down to a lower level. It's really handy to be able to do that. You can catch people who are trying to snipe you, etc. That comes with any of the patron levels, and then there's a lot of different other perks that you can get depending on your investment level, including your own coaching room for GAC, which I think a lot of people would probably benefit from having someone be able to listen to their plans and help them formulate not only like farming strategies, but also just strategies to help you improve in Grand Arena, not to mention coaching while you're in a match. So just something to think about, guys. I'm going to stop shouting that out now. And as you all have probably experienced, well, at least a lot of you, at the end of each season that I make Kyber, which so far is all of them, I have done some kind of a montage to kind of celebrate that. And so last season I went 11-1. I lost my penultimate match because I didn't have mods equipped to 5 of my key characters. You guys can watch that video on your own if you're interested. But I've made Kyber 7 times in a row out of 7. I've also made Kyber 7 times with my alt. So this is, I realize this is bragging, and honestly I try not to do that. I don't like to be full of myself here, but this is a really exciting time. It's great to make Kyber. That's my goal every season, and so I don't see why I shouldn't just be a little bit proud, happy about that, shout myself out for just a minute, tip my hat to myself, or take my hat off to myself, as Carmelo Anthony said once. Anyways, let's stop this music here, and I will show you guys the montage. Let's hope that it actually plays well here.
Kill me quickly.
I will soon destroy a stained glass window as an artist like yourself.
However, since I can't have you following me either.
Kill the Dark One and the Giant, but leave the third for questioning. Please, anything you want.
I want my father back.
Alright, and we're back. So, let's jump into this match now. I know you guys have waited for a while for all of my shoutouts, and I appreciate your patience. I'm facing a dude named Dark Menace. And this name is not that interesting. So, apparently they're a Sith Master, though. So that's good, I guess. Good for them. It's not good for them. It's not healthy to be a Sith Master. So they are a part of Team Instinct. This is their main guild. It's the big one, the one that's over 300 million GP. So it's going to be a tough match. Those guys have all the really strong counters and everything. You look at their lifetime banners. It's a pretty high score. It's not quite as high as mine, but it's pretty good. You can't take a player like this lightly at all. So, looking at the stats here, for me and Dark Menace, they have 300k more GP, which is fine. Most of that's in characters, it looks like. There's relics. I actually have higher end relics than them to some degree. I have more tier 7. A lot of that is probably because I've been getting ready to unlock Supreme Leader Kylo, and my opponent has not put all those relic levels on. So there is that. Looking at Zetas, they have more Zetas, which is surprising. There aren't many players who have more Zetas than I do at this point. Which is fine. I'm jealous, but then if you look at Gear 12 disparity, it's huge. They've almost 30 more characters at Gear 12 than me. I have more Gear 13, but only by 5. So their whole roster is very well geared. And then look below that in the center there, mods. It's crazy how many mods. I have pretty decent mods, I feel like, but especially 6-dot mods at the top of the mod section. They have over double what I have, and I mean, I've focused on 6-dot mods a lot. I haven't spent money on it, and not trying to insult my opponent at all, but I would guess that means that they've spent a little money on their 6-dot mods. They also have a really, really high number of plus 15 mods, though things do balance out a little bit once you get to the 20 range. That's fine. And I can live with this mod discrepancy, I think. Just depends on how you mod things as well, as is the case in much of life. It all depends on how you use it. So as far as just GAC stats, we already looked at lifetime banners. I do have more, though not so many more that my opponent should be overlooked. And we have pretty similar stats, actually. I have a few more defensive wins, a few more undersized wins, a few more offensive wins. Overall, I've probably done a little better in Grand Arena in general, but like I said, this guy's from a top guild and not someone to overlook. So jumping into this match, my opponent had here we go. Here's the map. My opponent in Grand Arena history, they deployed very early in the phase, and you can tell that by just looking at their total banners, especially in the first round. They have 0 usually, or maybe a couple here or there from some feats that you can earn outside of Grand Arena, but beyond that, my opponent didn't have any banners, and so when they deployed pretty early on, I was fairly sure. I mean, you can't tell for sure, but I thought maybe they hadn't scouted my Grand Arena history, And if they had already deployed so quickly, they already had a plan in mind that's outside of what I was normally going to do. And as it turned out, I scouted them and I made some adjustments, and they actually did take almost exactly the same thing that they have in the past, at least in the front zones. So in the front here, we have a General Grievous squad with some pretty high relics on everyone that matters. Droidica matters, I guess, as well, though in some ways it's better to have him at lower levels, as I'll show you guys later. I actually do think higher gear is better for Droidica, to be clear. And then a really, really fast, really strong Nightsisters squad here with relics. Yeah, it's a really strong squad. Let's see, here's the map again for fun. And then map 3. That's what I labeled it. So, map 3, guys. I'm sure that means something to you. They have a Darth Revan squad. This squad is super fast. Darth Revan is at 342, which is equal to my own Darth Revan. Bastila is 312 speed. Malak is modded really well. Relic 7. You can see the lowest relic here is Relic 5. It's just a really strong squad, and they kept it intact. It's just tough to deal with. So, and you know, just so you're aware, I did take General Skywalker here to try to counter that, because I didn't want to roll the dice with my own Darth Revan. So yeah, we have equal speeds. 342 speed on Darth Revan. He has 342 speed. I didn't want him to potentially go first and completely derail my attempts to win this match. So, other than that, we have a pretty standard bounty hunter squad, and that's one of the reasons I don't think they scouted me, because if they did, they would see that I just destroy even really fast bounty hunters with my troopers. But they also have a Carth squad with Visas Mar, and in the back, I assumed that they were going to have something okay. Like, I know they had a Nute squad that has a high relic nest and everything. I thought that maybe that would be back there. And otherwise, I mean, they've been putting troopers in the back, so I was hoping that they would do that. And now, let's jump to our first video here. I need to take on this bottom zone, and the first squad that I need to take on is General Grievous. My preset strategy here is just to take Emperor Palpatine with Bastila and the Sith trio. And so Bastila, now she finally has mods, which is great. So she's faster than everyone here. And if she's faster than B1, that's really the key to start things. She debuffs everyone, and then as people lose their buffs, and her debuffs actually didn't impact things as much as they usually do, but it's enough. As they are dispelled, then it feeds turn meter to the rest of the team under Palpatine lead. So what we're trying to do here is just avoid killing anyone. We don't want to we don't want to get hit. We just want to take turn after turn after turn. So that means putting debuffs on everyone, spreading the love, trying to make it so that they just slowly die. Eventually, though, what we're really waiting for is for Nihilus to get his Annihilate ready and just kill Grievous before anything happens. So we're spreading everything out. You notice that I put Shock on B2 almost right away, and you want to keep Shock on him because B2 will gain too much turn meter, and he'll start doing ill-advised things such as shooting my whole team, and we don't want that. So we're just spreading the love here, and Droidica is a potential issue because if they put up their buff immunity, then or rather their damage immunity, we can't actually impact it. We can't debuff it. We can't do anything. We can dispel it and then debuff it, but that's a lot of steps. So we want, really what we're trying to do is just debuff everyone and keep them alive. And this is what I was referencing earlier with Droidica at such a low gear level relatively. he's actually in danger of dying. You can't actually see his health bar, but I was pretty stressed out at this point. Need to keep Droidica alive, but eventually I did get Annihilate with Nihilus, and now we can just kill these guys at will, in whatever order we want. So one thing to keep in mind here, guys, is when you're using Emperor Palpatine, you don't ever, in this specific counter, you never want to use his second special, which is the health drain. For it heals him, and it also hurts everyone by 5% health, which isn't much, but it also hurts Grievous's health pool, which when he starts taking hits from his health pool, then he assigns a debuff, the taunt debuff, to one of his guys. He marks one of his own guys, and then you can't target him to actually annihilate him. So 57 banners there, pretty decent result. And yeah, I was happy enough. 57 is great. You can't get higher than that, really, if they do any AoEs. So immediately I decided to just jump in with my first order with Watt here, and so we're fighting this really fast Nightsister squad. I do have a faster first order officer because I've invested in him and his crazy speed. He's only like 2 or 3 speed faster, but he's at like I think he's at 340 total speed under Kylo Ren's leadership, so pretty good. Now we're taking Watt because Watt does a couple really important things here to counter Nightsisters specifically. He puts the taunting buff on Kylo Ren unmasked, so Kylo takes all of the aggro. That means they can't have Talzin do the mass assist that she did just a minute ago, and have it just like murder first order officer or Watt for that matter. After the taunt tech goes up, then you put the weapons tech on first order executioner, and now you see that I killed Talzin as quick as I could. I passed turn meter at the start to Kylo Ren so he could do his AoE, feed the entire team turn meter, and once that happened, it also dispelled Spirit's foresight, and that foresight is really important to Spirit because she does extra damage when she has it up, so being able to dispel that as often as possible is great. And then my number one priority, I was trying to reduce turn meter on Talzin. It didn't work. I was trying to stun her, but I got the wrong turn order because Kylo Ren unmasked and Executioner swapped sides basically of or turns that I would have preferred. So anyways, I did manage to get all these kills with different with first order executioner against these different Nightsisters, and now what I'm trying to do, I have no idea how my opponent's going to do. They haven't attacked yet, and they're a strong player. They have a lot of really good offensive options, and so I need to maximize my banners. And as you can see, everyone is full health except for Watt. He is lower on health, so what we're doing, we're just hitting Zombie for a while, trying to get Zombie's health, or rather, I don't care about the zombie, but we're trying to get Watt. He can heal himself. He can put his heal up onto himself, and then he eventually, once he takes enough turns, he can over time heal himself. So whenever we have first order officer available to swap turns, or rather to give turn meter, he hands it to Watt, and finally Watt did take a turn. He's got full health. I've stunned Daka, and now we can just kill Daka. Now keep in mind, Daka's been, every time we kill any character, Daka's been gaining plus 10% to her health pool. It already is really high, and you can see I'm not killing Daka right now with anyone other than first order executioner, because if I kill her with anyone else, then Zombie will just revive her and it'll potentially drag the battle out. She might get an AoE that actually does some damage to me, or rather a 2-person AoE, double attack, whatever. So anyways, I did manage to get 60 banners there, and that's great against a squad that strong with a B-level team. It's pretty good. So you can see here, this is the map on the bottom, and they have a Qi'ra team with nothing interesting. Like they have a Zeta on young Han, which is fun. I would love to have that, but that it's unnecessary. So let's see. Now we're going to try clearing the top zone here, and it can be a little bit tricky. The Darth Revan team is just really strong. Before I do that, though, I just wanted to. I had a little time. I just wanted to take out this trooper team. Their Bosk is incredibly fast. I wanted to make sure that I still did have my mods on Stark. I had him off for a little bit for territory wars a while ago. I did. He's really fast. He's 345 speed after leadership, and this Bosk is not quite that fast. So Stark goes first. Of course, he creates a. He gives everyone debuffs, I should say. Everyone buffs. I see that's something I probably would have edited out, but I don't have that option here. Once everyone gets buffs, they get turn meter because of Veer's leadership. I could have probably just terminated Jango so we didn't revive, but I decided to just put it onto Bosk so we could go away. And really, that it's a pretty quick 60 banners, even with incredibly fast mods. Those guys are really fast, and yeah, happy to have gotten that result. So here I'm just remembering that I never turned the music back on, so let's do that. So sorry if you've had to listen to that awesome computer humming. It's actually being fixed pretty soon. I'm getting a new computer, so that's exciting. Now we've got General Skywalker against this Darth Revan team, and I took General Skywalker because I wanted a sure thing. I think Padme might have been able to do this, though I've stopped having her be really slow again for some reason. But maybe my own Darth Revan would have beat this. My Bastila is a little bit faster than theirs by about 2 speed, but it's far from certain, especially because I'd have to use Sith Trooper as the 5th instead of Sith Marauder, because otherwise their Darth Revan might win the coin flip to go first and just go before any of my guys. And if he did that, he would be able to fear my whole team. So I'm just using General Skywalker. There's not a huge amount of nuance to this match that I've learned. Really, I try to kill HK and all of the periphery characters as early as I can, just because they're the ones who can actually do all the damage. And yeah, it's... I mean, I guess Darth Revan is easy enough to... He does damage as well, but the thing is he's very difficult to kill because he health equalizes when you come close to killing him. I got 50 banners. It's ugly. It's not great. Maybe if you guys see something better in the technique than me, then you can let me know. I'd be interested to hear. But I did clear that squad, and now I decided that, so this Nute team was problematic, and I wanted to make sure I could clear it. I needed to get the full clear here. My opponent had clearly kept a ton of squads on offense, and I knew that they were probably going to clear me. I needed to be as careful as possible. I had to be able to full clear, and this Nute team was actually fairly strong. You can see I did go undersize, and it's problematic because you want to kill Dooku first, but you can't because Wat is there. Wat goes, and I wasn't able to actually snipe him out, and he was so fast that even though I stunned him with Han, he actually went first after Han, even though he didn't get his bonus turn because it was wasted on the stun. He still went first. So now we're just trying to... I would have loved to have killed Dooku by now. I would have loved to have stunned Nest by now. There's a lot of guys I'd just love to kill in this squad, but they're all super duper fast, and the Xaereth Rebel Pathfinder is not interesting except that he has the taunting tech, So we had to kill him first, and then he revived, of course. And he's relic like 3 or something like that, so he's not easy to chew through. And now Dooku is stealthed, and I have to just shoot Nest for a while. Luckily, I did manage to get tenacity down on her. One thing I want to point out is I did not take C-3PO here. C-3PO would have been a death sentence for me, because C-3PO would have decreased Nest's turn meter too much, and I may have just timed out. So eventually, though, this Nest actually is fast enough that I was able, she probably would have gotten a turn, but it's best to be safe, and you don't need 3PO in this match. Dooku survived to the very end, and you can see all my guys are extorted all the way to hell, and I'm trying to clear extortion. I don't know. I'm like kind of out of sorts. You can see how close all my characters came to dying here. I just want it to end. Now, I think Nute has not died yet. Oh, he has. I was trying to gain some health. Is what I wanted to heal with Luke, is what I was trying to do. Clearly didn't work. So, anyways, we did get the win. 56 banners, though. I guess that's fine. I mean, that is a really strong squad. So, now we've got a couple filler teams here in the back. There's the Qira team with Scoundrels. And then up top, to get to ships, we have the Carth team with Visas, and so I'm trying to maximize banners here. I dropped 10 against that General Skywalker squad. Not the best. We're trying to be efficient. I have a ton of teams on defense, so I was hoping that that might slow him down. But we need that margin to be as big as possible. I really wanted to take Veteran Han here. He is modded decently and everything, but in the end, I'm trying for banners here. Remember, so I took Stormtrooper Han instead because he self-heals his protection, which is great, and then mixed with Qi'ra, like, he's just pretty much indestructible. I may time out against this team, but I will absolutely not die to it. So really what our priority is, we need to kill Visas Mar first, because she will revive someone otherwise. And she also does a lot of cool stuff for the team. Like, I've always liked her kit, at least to some degree. We want, she can buff everyone. She can give them armor penetration, which gives them extra damage. So we just need to take her out, which was no problem. My Nest is Relic 7. She hits really hard. And really, so I'm just hiding behind my various debuffs. Now, something that's interesting as you watch this, every time someone hits L3, she just dispels buffs. And so, or rather, she dispels debuffs on someone. So if she's taunting, then she's going to be dispelling all kinds of things on my team. And now you see Vander has his prepared up. So even if someone accidentally dies, which they probably won't, and if they did, it would be Qi'ra. But if they did die, then Vander would just revive them anyways. And you can see how resilient. I have a Relic 1 L3 and a Relic 7 Stormtrooper Han, so pretty good characters. And yeah, they're just tanking it so well. With Qi'ra's lead regenerating protection, there's really not going to be an issue with, like, I'm not going to die. You see all the dots on Stormtrooper Han right now. He has 5 damage over time, and then they hit L3, and L3 in turn just dispelled them all on Stormtrooper Han. So, or off of Stormtrooper Han. So we're doing well. Nest is able to evade that Zalbar taunt, and at this point I was pretty sure, yeah, see, I one-shot mission, that wasn't an issue, and then it occurred to me that even at Gear 12, Zalbar is pretty tough to get through, and the only one I can actually do real damage with, is probably Nest, and that was worrisome. And then one thing I do want to point out, though, is Vander Chewbacca, if he has prepared, he can actually hit reasonably hard with his special. So, Nest is going to be the one who deals the most damage, of course. And really, I mean, Vander can help, though. So that's just something to think about. Sometimes it's good to use that prepared off of Vander. And Stormtrooper Han ended up getting the kill, so talk about cherry picking. We did get 60 banners there. Qira is actually a great team to get max banners if you can actually win the match. So, so far we haven't dropped too many. We haven't dropped too many fights, really. We're doing okay, but we need to keep maxing things out. And I knew immediately what team I wanted to take against this. I had Nightsisters available, and Nightsisters are great. They will absolutely win this fight, but they'll also drop a bunch of banners. So I'm going to take my Jedi Training Rey team with the new Finn. There are 3 different ways here to revive protection, and it's pretty reliable. I mean, this team here is not going to kill me anyways. The only damage dealer, really, I guess Lando can do a little damage. Young Han can do some damage, especially if he gets prepared and he starts assisting and everything. But this is a timeout team, absolutely. So you want to take out Vander Chewbacca first. Easy enough, done. And now we want to take out Qi'ra because she's the one with an AoE. You can see here she knocked all of our protection down a little bit, and that's obnoxious of her, so we want her to stop it. And once that happens, then we can kind of just I don't know, we're controlling things anyways. We're trying to get ability block, we're trying to get stuns. Young Han is stealthed somehow. I think that's probably something that Landino gives him. And then Finn does throw his grenade. He heals everyone's protection huge. You can see Jedi Training Rey is taunting now because she's a tank. It's pretty amazing. Now we just have to get through L3 because Young Han is not taking turns, which is fine, but he's also not leaving stealth. L3's easy enough to take out though, and you can see here I went for the stun just in case he got a turn. Didn't end up mattering. Got a quick 60 banners. That isn't a team I like to undersize with. I considered it for a little bit, decided against it, and now all we really have left is ships, and this is actually a pretty scary fleet. They have Akbar here with Bistan, and Bistan doesn't look too fast. All of my Galactic Republic ships look like they're like 30 speed faster than Bistan, but one thing to keep in mind, Bistan and Scarif Rebel Pathfinder have max 6 mods and they're Relic 3, which gets them to I think it's like 156 speed, something like that on Bistan's U-Wing, which as I said, it's not that strong looking. Negotiator's way faster, but the thing is, with Bistan's kit, Bistan actually gets first turn against everyone because he gains a certain percentage, and so once you cross that threshold, it's pretty scary. I got lucky that Bistan targeted Houndstooth and they didn't do a crazy amount of damage to me, but Bistan is stealthed and everything. If he had targeted Ahsoka, this battle could have gone much differently, and that's something that I kind of overlooked. I forgot about how strong really fast Bistan's U-Wing is. Even though I have Bistan myself on defense, and not on defense this time, but and anyways, at this point I took Plo because I wanted him to just heal everyone, and then that never works out for me. I need to learn, like, getting Plo in just doesn't, that's not the end game, because he doesn't finish anyone off, and then someone always takes a turn and ruins things. So I was happy there. 64 banners is a pretty strong result, and in the end I dropped a total of 19 banners. The softmax for this map, for the 5v5 with ships, is I think it's 1939. So I dropped 10 against General Skywalker, or with General Skywalker against Darth Revan, which frankly, I mean, I'm just happy I won that. You can lose that, honestly. That does happen. So I dropped 10 there. I dropped 3 against the Grievous squad, which is fine. With Traya, that's very acceptable. I dropped 4 with Commander Luke. So let's see, that's 17, and then I dropped 2 from ships, because ships soft max is 66. So, dropped 19. It didn't feel like I dropped 19. I got a lot of 60s. I got a lot of really high scores, but it does add up. And, I mean, I just had to hope that my opponent wouldn't be able to full clear me, or that they would mess up or something. Maybe they'd be inefficient. The fact is, I do have a Darth Revan squad on defense, my General Grievous squad is there, and then in the back, I have Padme, and I have a Jedi Revan squad. So, you know, Geonosian Steel Banners, I have a lot of good squads. My Bounty Hunters are super fast, faster than their troopers, so they're not going to be able to use troopers to counter me. And so I guess I can show you guys what the end result was. He eventually did attack before I went to bed. I went to bed super late, and when he did attack, he did end up getting a full clear on me, but he was pretty inefficient. I beat him, efficiency-wise, I beat him by 18. And he did one shot all of my teams. So here, let me show you my teams that I have on defense. Here's my front line. The top teams, the teams from the top are on top here. There's a black line dividing the teams. General Grievous with Probe Droid, and Probe Droid is just a cheap, he's like a poor man's BB-8. You can get holds with that squad sometimes, but mostly it's just as effective as with a lot of these other characters, and that lets me keep my Watt for offense, it lets me keep BB-8 for offense, and keeps General Grievous at a pretty good efficiency level. The Bounty Hunter's got one shot. I have no idea what my opponent struggled on. He said that my ships didn't give him much trouble, but a little bit, and my Padme apparently, but he hasn't given me details. So you can see I got one shot. Wonderful. Good job to my opponent. And then in the back zone, I have my droids here, my Malevolence fleet. I decided to throw them on defense one time just to see how they do, but that's the only concrete data my opponent gave me. He said he only got 60 banners on them, so that's good. 5-star Malevolence can steal 6 banners. I'll take that, honestly. That's pretty good. Hard to use Malevolence right now because of 5-star, and I'm immediately forfeiting 3 banners just for using it on offense, but I could. And then in the bottom, of course, I have Padme with the Togruta girls. I almost call them sisters. I doubt they are. And I have my Jedi Revan squad with Kanan as the tank, because I wanted Old Ben available for my Commander Luke. And yeah, that's it, folks. I ended up with the win. My opponent was good. He congratulated me on the win. That was actually the way I knew I won, was he just sent, I had a message I was doing something in the game, and a message popped up that said, congratulations on the win. And so he hasn't been that talkative, but I'm not that talkative sometimes. So anyways, appreciate the talk. I hope he knows about my video, so hopefully you learned something about your defenses here, one way or another, what works and what doesn't. Your mods are super strong, dude, if you're watching this. Really strong. That Darth Revan squad is really good. So anyways, got the win. I'm at 1-0 now. Hopefully we get 11 more of those this season, and hopefully we do something a little different for my next video. I would appreciate feedback on if you like the music, if you like this format, if you like the way I'm doing things. Let me know in the comments. And anyways, folks, I think I'm going to do a live stream tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. I don't know. I think I'll probably use my alt. I'm just afraid. The only way I can do live stream right this minute, it very effectively at least, without a ton of lag, is by using my computer. And my computer is, I mean, I've told you a few times, I've mentioned it, like I've needed new parts for it. It's loud, it is old, like I built it like 8 years ago, and it's just trying to build this video. Actually, the part of the reason I'm doing this format is I couldn't load one of my videos. I kept crashing my whole setup just because my computer couldn't open one of my videos that my phone took. I had to use my phone to chop a couple of these videos in half to be able to actually get it onto the computer, and I need a new computer, and therefore trying to run BlueStacks, which is extremely memory dependent, it's just not safe. I've crashed on my alts with it in BlueStacks before. So if you want to see my live stream, probably do my alts 1 or 2 more weeks, but new parts are coming. I should have a state-of-the-art awesome computer soon, and you can see some live streams. I'm going to be doing that more often, especially in this season. I want to use video as much as I can of the face cam and everything. So anyways, guys, hope you guys enjoyed it. Please leave a like if you did. Please leave a nasty comment in the comments section if you didn't. And I think I'm going to leave you here. I hope I didn't ramble too much. So thank you all so much for watching. And remember that in all things, Xaereth prevails.